What makes language sound formal or informal? Imagine you're at a party, and someone starts talking in a way that feels distant and serious, while another person chats casually with friends. What makes their speech so different? It all comes down to how they use language. When you understand what makes language sound formal or informal, you can choose the right words and tone for any situation. First, let's look at grammar. Formal language sticks to strict rules. Sentences are often longer and more detailed with correct punctuation. It avoids contractions like can't or don't and uses full forms such as cannot or do not. Formal speech also tends to avoid using I or we and prefers passive voice or third-person statements. For example, instead of saying, I believe the results are accurate, a formal way would be, the results are considered accurate. In contrast, informal language is more relaxed. Sentences are shorter and more direct. People use contractions freely like can't, don't, or it's. First-person pronouns such as I and we are common, making the conversation feel personal. For example, someone might say, seen James, instead of have you seen James? This style makes speech sound friendly and easygoing. Now let's talk about word choice. Formal language uses precise and often technical words. It avoids slang or casual expressions. For instance, instead of help, you might see assistance, and instead of ask, you might see inquire. Formal language aims for clarity and professionalism. On the other hand, informal language relies on everyday words and phrases. Slang, idioms, and colloquialisms are common. You might hear wanna instead of want to or kids instead of children. These words make speech sound familiar and approachable. Phonetics, or how words sound when spoken, also influences formality. Formal speech tends to pronounce words fully, avoiding shortcuts. For example, saying going to instead of gonna sounds more formal. Informal speech often features reduced sounds like gonna or wanna, which signal a casual tone. When writing, contractions and abbreviations mimic these spoken shortcuts. Choosing between formal and informal language depends on where you are and who you're talking to. Formal language is expected in business reports, academic papers, or official letters. It shows respect and professionalism. Informal language works well in texts, social media posts, or conversations with friends, creating a friendly vibe. To sum up, paying attention to grammar, word choice, and pronunciation helps you sound appropriate for any situation. Formal language sticks to rules, uses precise words, and full pronunciation. Informal language is more relaxed, uses contractions, slang, and shortened sounds. Mastering these differences makes your communication clear and fitting for every occasion.